it's Sandy Wiley. Welcome to my mental health channel, 50 Shades of Black and White, where I talk about my own mental illness, borderline personality disorder, along with other mental illnesses. I try to wipe away the stigma of mental illness, bring it out into the open, and share my authentic personal experiences with it. I only ask for everyone to be kind in the comments. We don't have to agree, but we do need to agree to be kind and respectful to each other. That's very important to me. Kindness and respect. Another thing everyone needs to know up front is that I'm not a therapist in any way, shape, or form. I don't even play one on TV. I do not have a degree in psychology. I am not a professional, so I'm only talking as a patient of 20 years experience as a patient with borderline personality disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety disorder, attention deficit disorder, and a whole lot of other things. So if you can ask me whatever you want, and I will give you my personal opinion, not a professional opinion. If you like what you see, give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if, subscribe. What else can I say? It's 100% free. So today, the whole point of my channel is to, wipe away the stigma of mental illness. So what better video to do than talk about the 7 myths of borderline personality disorder that need a reality check. Mental illness is a highly stigmatized topic in modern society. We often hear phrases like, it's all in your head. I've heard that 100 times told to me. You're just being a baby. When we express, our symptoms to people who have no, empathy or no kindness toward us. Now, let's jump right into the myths, the 7 myths of having borderline personality disorder, which is my mental illness. The first one is attention seeking and manipulation. It's not a real diagnosis. That's a myth, meaning that's not true. It is a real diagnosis. And people like us are not doing it to manipulate or for attention seeking. Okay, this is, I'm not making this stuff up. I'm reading it, I read these things from written, documented literature by professional people, psychiatrists and psychologists. I'm not just like coming on here, I'm sharing this with you. Many people falsely equate borderline personality disorder with manipulation. These people claim everything someone with borderline personality does is just a cry for attention. We're looking to get attention. Some people even go so far as to dismiss what people with borderline personality disorder say or do as just an act. Now that's horrendous. I'm just going to tell you from my experience. If you dismiss someone who's crying out for help, God help you if something happens to that person. That is going to forever haunt you. That you just dismissed it and then found out later on. You see what I'm saying? Always take someone seriously. Always. Anyone. Not just with this mental illness. But don't dismiss what someone has to say. Seriously. I mean, if you do that, you could be harming the person. And you will have that on your head. You will have that. That's all I'm going to say about it, okay? I'm not going to go into details about it. I'm just going to say, when someone says something, believe them. Take them seriously. Don't say they're a drama queen. Or they're trying to manipulate you. Of course, people with borderline personality disorder have a big fear of abandonment, mood swings, and rapid changes in self-image. And these pendulum swings can cause great distress, would combine with a propensity toward impulsive behavior, which I said I'm that number 2 in the last video. I'm the impulsive borderline. And can push individuals toward acting in ways that they may not make rational sense, right? However, these actions aren't meant as to be manipulative, okay? They're means of self-preservation. Self-preservation. Listen to me. When a borderline acts like this in irrational ways, they're not manipulative. They're a means of self-preservation. You got that? Just let that sink in, okay? In fact, people with borderline personality disorder often feel remorse and extreme shame once they realize what they've done or said in the heat of the moment. Here's another myth. Only women get this. If you look up the statistics on gender and borderline personality disorder, you will see a disproportionate number of women who receive the diagnosis compared to men. There's more women than men. The belief is further fueled by mainstream media, which typically only shows women, like in Fatal Attraction, with borderline personality disorder. The reality here is both men and women receive the diagnosis. Many experts believe that the research is 3-to-1, 3 women for every man. But men get it too. I never really known a man who had it. But if you're a man out there who has borderline personality, put it in the comments. You know, tell me, do you feel the same things that I've been mentioning, you know, on previous videos? Let me know, you know. Or if you've been involved with a man who has borderline personality disorder. Myth number 3. People with borderline personality disorder are incapable of forming lasting relationships. Well, I've already blown that myth out the water, people. I've been together with my husband, married 37 years. We dated 3 years before. I've been with him 40 years, 40. I've said it in several other videos. So this is blown out the water, okay? Because some people with our illness will rapidly shift between idolizing loved ones and distrusting them, many people assume individuals with this diagnosis cannot maintain friends or romantic partners. It says right here, anyone can learn interpersonal skills to help them form lasting relationships. Although relationships are sometimes hard for people like us, they are far from impossible to maintain. And that is 100% true. Look at me and my husband, all right, married 37 years. I have great relationship with my adult son. He's 26 years old, so that's a 26-year relationship. I know other people who don't speak to their adult children. So, myth number 4, people with borderline personality are true dramatic. Well, I am a little bit dramatic. I just think that's how I am, you know. I love, you know, I've done karaoke before. I love to dress up in costume. I love to sing and dance. I just think I belong on the stage sometimes. I mean, that's just me. I'm like an actress. All right. They seem dramatic because of their emotional reactivity. In fact, some people compare their response to tantrums children throw when they don't get their own way. The reality is, people with this disorder experience emotions intensely, very intensely. Unfortunately, this means that many people with this disorder lack the same type of emotional skin, you know, that others have, and this causes them to experience frequent discomfort and distress over seemingly small things. It's part of the illness. They're not trying to be drama queens. There's no right or wrong way about how people feel or express themselves. That's what it says here. With our illness, emotions are often feel all-consuming, and that can be hard to rein in, especially if no one ever taught us how to regulate our emotions. And most borderlines grew up in unstable homes with very abusive parents. I was one of them. So we were never taught how to regulate our emotions. If you're never taught something, how can you have it? If you're never given love, you know, how can you You see what I'm saying? How can you return something you never had? How can you learn something you never were taught? Myth number 5, all people with borderline personality disorder are abusive. Some people with this disorder experience a symptom often called borderline rage. Guilty as charged. I have borderline rage. Oh boy, do I have borderline rage. And I've had it practically all my life. For some, this uncontrollable anger comes out in extreme ways and can cause physical damage to property. Guilty as charged. Broken windows, broken glass top tables, pushing people, slapping people, punching people, scratching people. Physical damage to property, tear apart even the strongest relationships. Because of this, people often equate a borderline diagnosis to abuse, even in individuals who do not meet the criteria for that symptom. So what it's saying is, not all borderlines are abusive. I have that kind of borderline rage. I do. I'm going to come right out here. You know me. I'm going to say it like it is. I have extreme borderline rage, extreme. But not everyone, the literature says, not everyone has that. And it also says anyone can be abusive regardless of diagnoses, Plenty of battered women up there, beaten with black eyes and everything, and the men are not borderline. It's true. Plenty of people are abusive and they're not borderline. So you just can't slap that on because someone's borderline. You can't say they're abusive or have borderline rage. I do have borderline rage. Now, if you're borderline and you know someone who is borderline, let me know. Maybe, everyone's different. It's not cookie cutter. It's not cookie cutter. And it's true. You don't have to be a borderline to be abusive. Myth number 6. People with borderline personality only make empty suicide threats. Now, this is, like I told you before, you need to listen when people say something. Never, ever take what someone says, as drama, as, trying to get attention seeking. Always take what someone says seriously. It can be the cost of life or death. You paying attention? Always take what someone says seriously. Because people with borderline personality disorder experience rapid mood cycling and intense emotions, many people see them as the boy who cried wolf. That story? Every time he cries, there's a wolf. There's no wolf there. So when the wolf really does come and he says, there's a wolf, no one comes because they said, every time we came, there was no wolf. See what I'm saying? When they express a desire, I got to be careful what I say here, but I'm just going to tell you, please, when someone says something, take them seriously and do something. All right? Don't blow it off, please. Borderline personality disorder has one of the highest suicide rates among mental health conditions. This is the truth. They're saying this is reality. Studies show that approximately 75% of individuals with this will make at least one attempt to take their lives. 75%. Now, this is another thing. Just like with the borderline rage, when I told you I had that, I never really made an attempt to do that. But 75% of people have. That's serious. That's very serious. That's a big number. That's a big percent. With many of them making multiple attempts throughout their lifetime. What's more, borderline personality disorder has the highest mortality rate of any mental illness, with up to 10% of individuals dying from taking their own lives. 10%. It's important to take any indication of this seriously, regardless of a diagnosis. Everyone deserves help, and people just don't make empty threats when it comes to life. And I will put the number down, the hotline down, the number. If you are feeling that way, I will put it down below, okay? So I will put that number to call if you feel, unsafe and unsure about things and you're thinking that way. I'm going to put the number down below, the hotline number, the crisis hotline number to call It's 24/7. It might be different if you live. I'll have to check it out what it is if you live outside the United States, because a lot of people watching this might be from the UK or somewhere else. But let me look into that, and I will put it down. Myth number 7: you can't recover from borderline personality disorder. Borderline personality disorder is, well, a personality disorder. People often claim it cannot be treated. In fact, some people claim individuals who live with this can't change who they are or refuse to get help. Not true with me. I tried to get help for 20 years, so that's not true with me. This is further complicated by the fact personality disorders typically cannot be treated with medication, and some people do not see therapy as a valuable treatment method. I don't, personally. I've tried. It's not from lack of trying. It's just that these therapists have abused me. Physically abused me? I'm not kidding you. Read my books. Mentally, emotionally, and sexually, I've been abused by these therapists. And there's several over the course of 20 years. So for me, it's not an option anymore. And I don't take medication for, the only thing I do is drink alcohol. I'm not condoning that. I'm not saying that's what you should do. I'm just saying that's how I cope. Reality. Borderline personality disorder is completely treatable. Although these studies rarely get attention, researchers have found that the majority of people with borderline personality disorder do eventually go into remission or recover once they receive accurate diagnosis and the appropriate treatment. This can take anywhere from 2 to 10 years depending on a variety of factors. So they're saying with the appropriate treatment, you can recover. That's what it says right here, that you can recover. Now, the last thing that I want to say is, if you ever feel that life is not worth living, that you are not of any value or importance, to this world, which you are, I want you, please promise yourself to call this hotline number. I'm going to put it down below, and talk to someone, okay? Just talk to someone, because there are people out there to help. There really are. They have these crisis hotlines. They have people available 24/7 in your area. And please, you are a valuable person. What you're feeling in that moment, no matter how intense it is, I know because I've been enraged, that will pass, okay? It will pass. I can't say when it will pass, but it will pass. Everything passes. Everything passes. So it will pass. And while you're feeling that way, tell yourself, this is going to pass, even though I don't feel like it ever will, and I don't feel this way now. And I've been there. Believe me, I've had things in life that I never thought would ever pass. Just reach out and call. Call and talk to someone. There's people out there that want to help. Please call and talk to someone. You are a very valuable person. You are a very lovable person. You are a very talented person. Everyone offers something to this world. I offer something and you offer something. And even though you might not feel it in the moment, please reach out and call. Reach out and call the crisis number that I'm going to put down below and talk to someone. Talk to someone and tell yourself that it will pass. You might not feel it at that moment, but reach out. That's all I can say. And please, and for everyone else, please, if anyone shows any sign or any hint, please take them seriously. Do not dismiss it. Take them seriously and take action. Help someone like that. Don't dismiss it. Don't dismiss that as being drama or dramatic or manipulation. Please, never, ever, ever dismiss someone feeling that way, saying that that life isn't worth living. Life is worth living. Okay? It will pass. Remember, everything passes.